Hi guys, Squirrel here, and welcome to another Euro Truck video. In this video, we're going to take a look at a new map that is called the Tregion map. And what's different about this map is the scale of it. It's on a 1:2 scale. Now, if you consider that most Euro Truck maps are on a scale of 1:20 or 1:19, 1:2 is pretty close to 1:1 scale. So you can imagine driving distances are, if you like, that much bigger. They take that much longer to cover. Kilometers and that kind of thing. It's quite an ambitious map project, this one. They currently have part of the Netherlands, but they plan to do the Netherlands, Belgium and Germany, so really ambitious project. Before we begin and take a look at the map, just a quick message from one of my sponsors. I've mentioned before BOTB, they're the competition company that give away cars and motorbikes and holidays and that kind of thing. They currently have an insane gaming rig, an 8-pack Supernova Extreme overclocked PC worth 13 grand, and also a Spitfire experience worth 5 grand where you get to fly in a real Spitfire. Tickets for that start at 15p, and you only have to be 16 or over to enter. Competition is open worldwide. I've linked them both in the video description. They'd make a great gift if you want it for Christmas, so be sure to check out the links. Let's start by looking at the map itself. Now, essentially, the map is a long highway at the moment. I'm not even going to try and pronounce these city names because I just can't do Dutch, let's face it. But just bear in mind when you look at this that it's on a scale of 1:2 and it is work in progress. I think this is version 0.0.4 beta at the moment, so it's very early stuff. However, they do have a team. I think they've got a team of about 70 people. So there's a lot of people that can basically build and test this. So we'll see how things go in 2019 for them. But right now, I'll show you what they've got. So I've started over here on the most west side. And if I zoom out, you can get an idea of what's going on. You can ignore Rotterdam. Rotterdam's work in progress, as you can see. You can't drive Rotterdam. But it's basically the long road from west to east at the moment. That's what you get in the Netherlands. But as you'll see, before you dismiss it as, oh my God, it's just a long giant road, it is actually very interesting, and the detail is real. There's a lot of attention to detail in this map, and then remember the scale of 1:2. It does make for a fun driving experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over here and pick up some Atlantic tuna, I think it is. So we'll have a quick look as we drive out of here, and you can see the detail that they've got. They've really captured the essence of the Netherlands, I think, and they've got some unique stuff going on as well, as you'll see, to do around the lighting and that kind of thing. So we'll pass through this cluster of towns. Now, I don't know if these are actual towns or cities or districts in the Netherlands. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe you know better than me. I was streaming this on Sunday Night Trucking, and there was quite a few people from the Netherlands that say, like, they recognize these places, and, you know, it's almost at a scale where you can see apartment blocks where you know that people live kind of thing in real life. So it is quite an accurate map. We'll carry on. I think our journey ends somewhere around here. So if we have a quick look at the cargo market, I can tell you what the job is that we're doing. Atlantic cod fillet all the way down to, what's that, Vadin or something. And as you can see up here, look, 29 kilometers trip distance, total trip time 34 minutes. Now, bear in mind on a scale of 1:2, that's probably going to take us about, what, 15, 20 minutes in real time, something like that. But bear in mind the money that you get paid, 1,400 euros. So this is one of the things about when you drive at this kind of scale. If you was to get a fine, you know, you might get a fine totaling 600 euros or 1,000 euros if the police see you. And it can really completely destroy your finances. So, and also if you get, you know, if you're late and that kind of thing, it's hard. It's difficult. If you try this map, you'll find that it's hard to make money. Now, what I've done is, if you look down the bottom left there, 10 million euros. What I've done is, if you remember, I did a video on how to create a profile and give yourself money in XP. Well, that's what I did. I created a profile, give myself level 30 and 10 million euros in cash, just so I could show you all this. But feasibly, you could start from scratch and essentially play it in quite a difficult mode of operation because the economy is going to be tough for you. Now, I have ramped up the traffic. There's a command G_traffic, so I've put that on 5. I think they recommend 10, but 10 is like insanity rush hour. Another thing is you will notice a few sort of FPS frame drops as we head into the more dense locations. The map is in need of optimization. They're completely aware of that. And in case you're wondering when you might be able to get this thing, they have promised that they will release this on Christmas Eve 2018. So you'll be able to play with everything that you see here on Christmas Eve. But like I say, you will need a new profile. I can't emphasize that enough. You have to create a new profile, go to the mod manager, put the mods in, and then you need to choose the database. It's a different, because it's a standalone map. It doesn't integrate with anything else. You have to choose the database. And that's where, of course, you would use my cheat mods, should you want to. I'll link their website in the video description, and I'll also link my cheat video in case you want to use those mods and make life slightly easier while you just enjoy this thing. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a drive, and you can see the detail that is the Tregion map. Pay attention in particular to things like road markings, paint colours like on the roads, the way they've marked things out, the traffic lights, the speed bumps before traffic lights. There's a ton of detail going on here. They've also implemented what is called in the Netherlands turbo roundabouts. Hopefully our route will take us across one of those. This one here is a normal roundabout, it's a single lane. And the turbo roundabout is a pretty interesting thing. If you're from America where you're not kind of used to roundabouts at all, the turbo roundabout would be a pretty scary thing to see, I think. Stadium on the left here, I'm not sure what that stadium is, probably a football club. But if you're more familiar with the Netherlands than I am, then you probably know what it is. Now, one thing I do notice about this map is it's quite hilly in a way. It does have lots of kind of rises and falls and speed bumps, which I find particularly interesting, because Netherlands itself is, very flat. In fact, I think its sea level is minus 8 meters or something. The land is pretty much under the basic sea level, so they're constantly fighting to keep the sea out. So the rises and falls, I don't know if that's how the Netherlands is, but I always thought the Netherlands was pretty flat. Trains, there are some trains, there's also a few static trains that you'll see. I think it was in the most easterly city, there was a static train that sits there. Wait. I think this is our entrance. Is this our entrance? Oh boy. Now that's a tricky entrance off the roundabout, blimey. Okay, let's see how we get on here. That AI is right behind me. That's Jeff. Jeff Van Dahl, I think his name is. Right, let's have a look. Cargo market. Let's see. Atlantic cod fillet, that's the one. Take job. Proceed to loading bay. Let's just check the trailer's clear. Yes, it is. So they've built this map, they said, from the ground up, which basically means they've got quite a few new assets in it. In terms of DLC requirements, if I remember, it was going East Scandinavia. I think they said Vive la France. You probably better check in the website for details. I can't remember if Italia was needed. But you will need a few of the DLCs, but luckily enough, in the run-up to Christmas, SCS will normally kind of discount the DLCs, so maybe you can pick up what you don't have for a bargain. Time does progress very slowly in this map. At the bottom of the screen there it says 10:21. You will notice that clock does not move very much during our journey. However, when you do load and unload here, the clock does move quite a bit. Let me just do that. Engine off. So yeah, look, it's 10:21 now, and then obviously when we load, it'll jump to what, 11:03. And if you remember, I think it said the job time was about 30 minutes, so you would expect to finish this at about 11:30 something. It takes a bit of getting used to. Time doesn't move very quickly in the scale. I know it sounds obvious, duh, it's only a 1 to 2 scale, of course it doesn't move very quickly. But when you're used to playing Euro Truck, and time goes by quite quickly, and weather can change quite quickly, you'll suddenly find that it doesn't in this map, because of the scale of it. So it affects everything, the economy, the driving, the weather. It's weird. Right, let's actually let's quite look at the map, see if we want to do any rerouting here. So we're going to come out of here down the N14. We're going to come down the A12. Let's see, where are we? The A12, that's where we want to go. The N451. We'll take that route there because the N451. Wow. We get off here and then we're going to go along there, then back down there, then around and around. Okay, maybe we won't do that because that's actually crazy. Oh my God. Actually, no matter which way you do this is crazy. So we'll do that crazy because that looks like fun. Maybe we'll take a slight detour here just so we can show you a little bit more of the map. Maybe we'll go like that way. Let's turn that one off. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that just so we drive through this bit. So we're probably going to be late and we're probably going to get punished for being late. But I'm sure you guys would rather see like what the map actually looks like and if it's worth your time downloading it and playing with it. So building out, you know, let's just think about the scale they're talking about here. They're talking about doing the Netherlands, Belgium and Germany on a scale of 1 to 2. I think that is a huge order. Like Germany on a 1 to 2 scale. Do you know what? I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here. There's nobody watching, so we'll just quickly do that. Okay, he saw me, but it's fine. Germany on a scale of 1 to 2 is going to take a long time to do. Like, that's an ambitious project in itself. Even doing the Netherlands and Belgium, like, on that scale, would easily dominate 2019. Even with a team the size they have. I know they have a lot of testers. Look at the traffic lights. Look at the road markings. Look at the lanes and the way they do things. People from the Netherlands who were in the stream were saying, like, this is how it is. It's pretty accurate, you know? Also, the traffic lights take longer to change. You'll find yourself sitting here at traffic lights like quite a lot more at this scale. Make sure when you park as well that you can see a traffic light. Some of them catch me out, like, there's no line on the ground for you to stop at, so you have to judge where to stop so you can still see a traffic light. Otherwise, you have to go third person. Absolutely no traffic. Just like real life. They've got some traffic lights, I think it's on the 451, that are like their own construction. They're like LED ones. Like, they're really bright. Now, here you go. You see this kind of piano key effect here? This is a speed bump. And they're pretty common in the Netherlands. They tend to put them before traffic lights and junctions and things. And the idea is to basically curb your speed before you approach a junction. The road system is built in such a way as to kind of control traffic. Like, the whole point of a turbo roundabout, and this is weird. I looked up about a turbo roundabout. I hope we see one. You might think, by its name, that the idea of the roundabout is that it goes faster, because it's called a turbo roundabout, but actually, the average speed of the vehicles on a turbo roundabout is slower than the speed on a normal roundabout. However, it has a higher throughput. So it allows more vehicles to move through, but at a slightly slower speed. According to the website. I don't know how true all this is, but I'm sure the traffic engineers have done their maths. Oh my God. You see what happens when you set the traffic to 5? Oh no. No, don't do that. No, this doesn't work for any of us, does it? Don't do that. AI be crazy. Also, I don't know if it's I presume it's a bug in some of the roundabouts. But you'll notice on some of the roundabouts when you go to them, the AI seems to think it has right of way to get onto the roundabout. It behaves like if you've tried the Baltic DLC. When you go to the Russian roundabouts, it behaves like that. In that the AI just jumps onto the roundabout regardless of what you're doing. You're happy pottering around and it'll go, I've got right of way. And it'll just jump on there. And it does that on a few of these roundabouts. So I think there's maybe some of the definitions are wrong, but, you know, like I say, 0.04 beta, what you're going to do. Notice the way that it splits traffic. And like the road signs above, they're all pretty accurate. I have driven in the Netherlands a couple of times, and they do look like that. This road network here is awesome. I love this. It reminds me of St. Petersburg in the Baltic DLC, where you get this kind of road crossing network, and also I think, was it Oregon? There was another thing in the ATS that had this kind of multi-level ramp going on, and it just looks so cool. You'll also see details like the kind of noise. What do they call them? By the side of the road, they have the kind of deflectors that block the sound. You'll see a lot of those in this map as well, like glass ones and stuff. Which lane do I want to be in? I think this lane. Yeah, that was good. So yeah, there you go. To the right now, you see it? All of that kind of glass wall stuff blocking out the noise. They are, you know, I have seen these in the Netherlands. And I think this is what can lead to some of the frame drops when you get in the cities. At the moment, the FPS is absolutely fine, like no problem at all. But when you're in the city, you do notice issues. And it reminds me of when I went to Barcelona in Pro Mods. And, you know, Barcelona in Pro Mods is like insanely detailed. But, as a result, you kind of get these FPS drops because there's like thousands of car objects, you know, in the car parks and stuff. And it needs optimization work doing. And I think it's the same here. They've put tons of detail, but in places it can be a little bit unoptimized. But, you know, they're still trying to finish the map, so then the optimization comes later. Look at the bridges and the signs overhead. Those lane signs. Like gantries and stuff. There's highways. Look, down the right there, you've got the ditch between the railway line and the highway. Those ditches are designed to collect the water, because if they didn't have those, then the water would just sit all over the surface of the roads and the rail. So they dig these ditches here to give natural relief, because remember, it is below sea level. Greenhouses. Try and stick into my lane. We're doing 79. There's highways that have lighting down the central reservation, and they're like train lines almost, the train power lines, in that they've got the like the cantilever wires. So they've got like the upright overheads, and then the cable that supports another cable that has the electric wiring on, and then it has like lights hanging off it. It's pretty cool. Like, I've never seen that, I don't think, in the UK. In the UK, they use standalone streetlights, a bit like what you can see here on the right, just lampposts, basically. But in the Netherlands, in places, they have these kind of, like, hanging lights, which are pretty awesome. So there is, like, tons of detail. Okay, we should be... Let me bring this map up. In case you're wondering how I've managed to get my kind of route advisor down here, this is called Hemmel's Route Advisor. It is in the Steam Workshop, I think, and it's in my mod spreadsheet if you can't find it. mods.squirrel.tv, that'll take you to the spreadsheet, and it's called Hemmel's Route Advisor. It does work at 133, so, which is what I'm in at the moment. So, time 11:17 down the south, and 21 Ks ETA 11:50 in 33 minutes, so we are going to be late because of all of our rerouting. And I'm pretty certain I'm going to face a hefty penalty. I quite like this route advisor. I've come to appreciate the compactness of it. Did you see look at the detail here? Did you see the train station back there? Look at the detail. Phenomenal. Like, really good. I think this is... my personal take on this map is it's encouraging. And it's encouraging because we've actually got now another map that's kind of at a map mod that's at the level of kind of pro mods in terms of its detail, and I just missed my junction. Rip me. Let's just check the map. Yeah, I just completely missed that. So it's okay. We can that's fine. We can get off here and loop it that way. It's fine. Yeah, we've got another map here from a team that's doing things at a very high quality level, which is fantastic. Obviously, Pro Mods integrates with the SCS map, which is good and bad. This one, completely standalone. which does mean that you're not going to see it in like a multiplayer environment. But if you're a fan of driving in the Netherlands and Belgium and then potentially Germany, it's going to be fantastic. And if you like things on this kind of scale as well, you're going to love it. So yeah, I hope their team can be productive in 2019. I hope they can build this out quickly, because at the moment, you know, we have only got this to drive down, but what's here is like really, really nice. Let's move over. So we're going to take a quick detour. Oh, there's a massive... Is this one of the massive McDonald's? I think this one... There's a place with a massive McDonald's on it. This could be it. Probably end up spending a long time at the traffic lights. Overhead power lines, look at that. All the detail is there. Lane do we want to be in? Left lane, probably. See on the right there, the way the traffic system works. In the Netherlands, they seem to do a lot of this kind of separating traffic. There's a lot of that going on. Also, these lights here that are super bright, reflecting green on the floor, they're aware of that. They're going to fix... They've already fixed that, actually. I think Kirill's already fixed it. Like, the lighting is their own lighting. It's like the LED panels, and they're so bright that the lights reflect, like, way too much off the road and off the vehicles. And it's most noticeable on green. Yeah, there it is. Massive McDonald's. You can actually drive down there. In fact, I drove around the drive-through bit. Unfortunately, you can't actually order a Big Mac. Or fortunately, depending on whether you like McDonald's or not. Another thing I like about the road markings, if you look at the paintwork, it's not all like fresh and new. It actually looks weathered and worn. So that's a nice little touch. So I don't know if you can feel it or not, but the frames are like taking a little bit of a battering at the moment. And like, here's a classic example of, and this doesn't happen in the UK. You see how the left lane has a white line to stop you, whereas when you're here, there's no line to tell you where the stop line is. It just keeps going, so you never really know. You know, you have to assume that you're stopping before the lights. Whereas in the UK, we would, like on the right there, we would put a solid line. I don't know if that's a map error, or that's deliberate, or that's how it works in the Netherlands. I just don't know. Okay, this guy's going to cut me up. Oh, no he's not. So this is like a bit more industrial. And again, look inside the industrial yard, see all the tyre marks on the ground? Look in the central reservation, you see how they've got two solid lines, but they've got gaps in them? I think the gaps mean that you are actually allowed to overtake, but you have to kind of do it with caution. I think that's what that means. So in the UK, we always have a solid line means you can't overtake, and then a dashed line means that you can. Right. 50 mile an hour. I'm not sure what that is on the left, just some industrial stuff. Lots of trees as well. There's like an insane amount of vegetation that goes on in this map. There's lots of roads that are... They're very, very pretty. They have central reservations with like grass strips down them or trees down them, that kind of thing. Lots of that going on. Also, those buildings down there. If you take a drive down that way, it's a bit more kind of housing area. And it's crazy detail down there as well. There's even a rest area in the middle of all the housing. It's hilarious. There's like a load of housing, and then there's almost like a... Not quite a car park, but just like a plot of land with a small office next to it, and it's actually a rest area. It's a really funny one. Okay, I think I want to be in the left lane. No, hang on. Yes, I want to be in the left lane to go northbound, I believe. So we'll move over here. Yeah, you see how the red's reflecting on the central reservation there? That's going to get fixed. Same with the green there. But the tiling, the texturing is just fantastic. I'm hoping we'll see a turbo roundabout now. I really want to show you that. When I first approached the turbo roundabout, I looked at it and I thought, okay. And when you come to get off the turbo roundabout, that's when it kind of freaks you out a little bit. Until you understand how it works, and then you think, ah, okay, I get this now. Okay, let's get that lane. Nothing coming. Let's put the foot down a little bit. Make up for some lost time. Yeah, overhead, look, green arrows and stuff. All lit up. Really nice. I can't remember what the widest highway I saw. I think it was 4 lanes. There's a bit where you can look down the highway, and I think it was 4 lanes on either side. So, you know, pretty significant road network. Let's have a quick look where we are now. Right, so we're now leaving that town. And then we've got a bit of a drive, and then we get off and do that crazy exit, if you remember. Even like the grass verges on the right, even that's just not all the same texture. Even that looks like it's been cut in places and overgrown in others. So much detail. Central reservation there, bits of flowers, bits of overgrown shrubbery. Just, it kind of feels like no matter where they looked, they just thought, you know what, we're not going to leave that plain, we're going to do something with that. We're going to make it look real. So you can kind of see where their standards lie. Time are we on? 11:32. 13 kilometers left. So normally if I was thinking 13 kilometers left in Eurotruck, we would be there in about a minute or two. But in this, nope. So if it says 18 minutes, I'm guessing that's going to be a 14-minute real-time journey. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see. Now it's kind of opening out. There's lots of fields now, lots of farmland, lots of flat areas in between the cities. You get to see billboards as well, like there's one up there, just ahead. Massive billboards. N219. Are we getting off here? But don't expect the weather to change, because it really won't. Like that's the weird thing. I don't think the game, when they change the scale of the map, the rest of the game kind of tries to follow suit, but doesn't really follow suit. And it's most noticeable in the weather. You know, if I drive around in real life for an hour, I can expect to see weather changes. You know, on one of those days when it can go sunny and showery and then sunny again, you're just not going to get that here. It's not going to change weather at that frequency. Okay, wind turbines. Pretty popular. Netherlands was known, you know, for the windmills they used to have. They've kind of swapped the windmills for wind turbines. And they do tend to build them in these industrial estates. Which is interesting, because in the UK we tend to not do that. We don't build them right next to industrial estates and stuff. We tend to build them either offshore or build them on hills out the way. But don't do that, just put them right next to the industry. We don't do it. Not that I'm aware of anyway. I'm sure there's isolated pockets where it happens, but I think they're trying to build them offshore in the UK. Okay, I think we are getting off here. Even like the colour of the road surface changes quite a bit. It's nice. It'll go black, it'll go grey. But if you look at the paintwork, you'll see that it is just so very nicely done. I'm pretty impressed by this map. I just hope that they can build it out and give us lots of stuff to drive in. Boskoop, Gouda and Utrecht. Is the right turn. I bet we don't make these lights. We didn't make the lights. Right, now if we're lucky, we're going to come up to a turbo roundabout down here. I honestly can't remember where they were. There you go, now you can see the detail of the town. And the highway to the right. You do see a lot of, you see how we're on the highway, but to our left is like a local road, and to our right is like another highway. You do see a lot of that going on. But you'll see kind of traffic running alongside other traffic. It's pretty nice. Okay, random event roadworks, I think. Just look at the detail here. Fantastic. Okay, watch our speed sign. Dang it! That BDF Troiler there, that's a Jazzy Cat mod. So I have got the Jazzy Cat mods installed, so we've got all like the AI traffic from Jazzy Cat. What else am I using? I'm not using the Frosty mod, I just wanted to show this map as it is originally. But there is a new Frosty mod out, in case you didn't know. Came out a day or two ago, I think. Works on 1.3.3, so I'm definitely going to be using that. I think the Netherlands with the Frosty model might look pretty nice, actually. It'll be interesting to see how it works. Lane do we want? It's pretty hard to see where we're going. Oh, it's a normal roundabout, but it does have weird logs in it. Ouch! That was an invisible block. There's a couple of those lying around. That's a bug. That was not a speed bump, that was an invisible block. See, there's nothing in the road. I found a couple of those. That's why my truck is so damaged, because I keep running into these invisible blocks, but, you know, they are aware of them, and by the time the Christmas Eve bill drops, you should be fine. Okay. Is this a turbo? No. Dang it. It's a double lane, though. So I want to be in the left. Ouch. I think I just found another one. One sec. I'll reverse into a cop car and get a massive fine. Let's try this lane. There we go, that lane's better. I was about to say, it's a two-lane roundabout. We want to go left, so I need to get in the left lane and then slam. Yeah, watch this guy, watch this guy. There you go, there you go. You see it? You see that? That's what I'm talking about. The AI gets really confused and thinks that it has some kind of right-of-way onto the roundabout. All the fun of early access. If you're not going to cheat your money into this, I would probably, if I was you, I'd probably turn off traffic fines, at least initially, just to get yourself going, whilst they kind of iron out those little bugs, because it would be deeply frustrating if you tried to play this. This is effectively a hardcore economy, really. It's pretty difficult, and it would be really upsetting if you was suddenly attacked by a car at a roundabout where you had right of way and then suddenly landed yourself with a massive fine. So you might want to turn that off until you've built up the coffers a little bit. But it's up to you. Okay, so if we have a quick look at the map now, you see what we've done. We've kind of looped all over the place. Now we're going to loop back, do a left turn into there, and make the final drop off. I might try and find a turbo. If we don't find one on the way, I might find a turbo roundabout for you and just give you a quick sneak peek so you can see how they work, because they are quite fun. That's a green. You can tell it's green because it lights up your cab. Also be aware of this guy coming at us here, because this truck will want to turn left as well, I think. I never understand the AI. Sometimes it attacks you, and other times it just gives way where it shouldn't. It's so weird. ETA was 1150. That's looking pretty accurate. Oh yeah, that's the road we just crossed over. You see it above? With the roadworks? Yeah, this is a normal roundabout. That's a shame. I do have to laugh how there's signs in the middle that tell you which way to go around the roundabout, just in case you forgot. Dude, don't pull out on me. Car dealership? Losing a few frames here. It's a little bit choppy. Now, I've not heard the ringtone, which means I'm late yet. I use the sound fixes mod, which means you don't get the... Whenever you're late, you don't get the crazy guitar music. Instead, you get like a Nokia ringtone. How do we get into this place? Wait, have I completely missed the entrance? Let's keep going. I think I might have missed the entrance, you know. That is a narrow turn. Nope, I think this is the entrance, isn't it? XMR. Yeah, the sat-nav was getting confused. It routed me around the back instead of the front bit. I'm pretty certain this is it. Which way should we go? Should we go this way? The distribution centre? Got all the stuff down the side there, all the detail. VirginiaLogistics.ie. Let's get this thing parked up and then I'll go and find you a turbo roundabout. That's a bit of a squeeze. Okay, brakes are set, engine off, drop the goods. I don't even think we got fined. Right, so we drove 38 kilometers, didn't we? But this journey took, what, about half an hour of real time? So the time taken's 1.5 hours. I reckon we took, well, probably slightly less than half of that. Half of that would be about 90 minutes, wouldn't it? No, that is 90 minutes, 45 minutes. And this journey took about 30 or 40, or maybe 40. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of feel the scale, but look how much money we got. 1,400. And then like a little bit of XP, so yeah. Let me go and find a turbo roundabout now, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is what a normal roundabout looks like. This is a single lane roundabout. You can see the entry roads have single lanes on them. So traffic gets onto the roundabout and then has to decide, you know, where it's going to go. There's actually width on the roundabout for 2 lanes of traffic, but they only mark it out as a single lane of traffic. So you can see the traffic's going around the middle of it. Contrast that with something like this. This is a 2-lane. This is not a turbo. This is a 2-lane roundabout. So you've got traffic, and the way, you know, this would work is traffic approaching in the right lane there basically has the option to go right or go straight on. There's no straight on this roundabout, but that's how it works. You would go straight on or right in the right lane, and if you're in the left lane, you would go straight on or left. What you don't do is get in the left lane and go right, or get in the right lane and go left. It sounds obvious, but you see people do it on the roundabout all the time. Now, what a turbo roundabout tries to do is try to kind of enforce that a little bit more, and I'll show you that now. So this is a turbo roundabout, and it's like the last roundabout, but you'll notice there's a few kind of differences. Most notable, it starts here, where the traffic is separated by this thing on the approach. And what happens is, the traffic in this lane is then forced to drive onto here, where these kind of guide markers encourage you not to go right. Like, there's nothing to physically stop you getting on left lane and going right, but it kind of steers you around like this so that you go left. Notice, like, just look at the design of it and how it works. It's kind of odd, but when you drive on it, the same principles apply. If you approach at the bottom on the right lane, you are basically forced into going right there. It's very hard for you to go straight on. You can do it, but it's very hard for you to jump over to go straight on. You're basically pushed out to the right. If you're in the left lane, you can get onto the inner part of the roundabout. But what they've done is the 2 lanes of the roundabout have been kind of molded and shaped such that it steers traffic around. And like I say, it actually lowers the speed of the traffic because of all these things on the road. But apparently it allows for a higher throughput. I've not seen these before. These are new to me as well. You certainly don't get these in the UK. But I assume they do their job. I assume they work. But they do freak you out when you first turn up. You sort of approach yourself like this and go, whoa, 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 where am I going? Like, do I go off here? Like, when I'm going around here? Like, particularly if you're here, you think, well, I can go that way or I can keep going. But when you get to this bit, you're like, well, do I cut inside? Or it can freak you out a little bit. So when you approach the roundabout, you just need to know where it is you want to go. And then, you know, it kind of sorts itself out once you've been over a couple of times. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. That is it for the Tregion map. It comes out Christmas Eve, and the plan is to do Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. It's a scale of 1 to 2. You need a brand new profile. Link is in the video description to the map website, where you'll be able to download it, and also to my video where you can cheat your money and XP on your new profile if you want to, and also that BOTB competition that you can enter to win Spitfire, a ride, and an 8-pack PC. Good luck with everything, and if I don't speak to you before, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Take care, guys. Happy trucking.